Good morning, boys and girls. Today is Friday, and if we were at school and doing calendar, we might do a Friday cheer, because we know that Friday means the weekend is coming, and weekends are typically days that we get to stay home with mommy and daddy and maybe do some fun things like play soccer or just spend time together as a family or go to church maybe. So I'm glad for the weekend. Yesterday, on the weekends, someone typically takes home Mallory, and I didn't want Mallory to get too far behind on her visits because we're not in school. So I noticed that it was Addison's turn, and now that I know where Addison lives because I took her pumpkin to her, I decided I would take Mallory by her house yesterday because Addison has a special trip planned this weekend. She and her family are going to the beach. How fun is that? And Mallory's going to get to go to the beach with her. So I know they will have lots of fun adventures. And right as I was leaving Addison's house yesterday, Addison told me, Miss Amy, you need to wear purple tomorrow so you can match Mallory because Mallory has that purple hat and a purple bandana. So Addison, I wore my purple shirt just for you. I hope you and your family have a great time at the beach and you have fun with Mallory. All right, boys and girls, we have been talking about pumpkins all week long, and today I have our Let's Find Out. Everybody should have this, so if you have it, if you want to run and get it out, that would be great. We're going to talk about what's the scoop on pumpkins. And look inside this pumpkin. Who's inside there? It is a doggy. How silly is that? So we're going to look real closely and learn some new things about pumpkins. So if you will open it up to the inside, Miss Amy's going to clip hers on here so that we can all see it. All right, let's look at pumpkins. Remember, anytime we're reading, we start at the top and we go top to bottom, left to right. So let's start at the top left and look at this blue box. Can pumpkins float? You think if you put pumpkins in water, they can float? Look at these pumpkins. Are they floating? They are. Did you know that pumpkins could float? That's kind of cool. All right, now let's go over to the red box. Are all pumpkins orange? What do you think? Are they all orange? Well, no. Look at all those different colors. There's some white ones and yellowish and a really light orange, and there's pumpkins with stripes. Pumpkins can be all kinds of colors. In fact, this week when Miss Tina and I were at Liam's house, he had some pumpkins. I know he had a white one and maybe a yellowish one too. So he had some different color pumpkins. Well, do you think a pumpkin, look at the purple box, can be bigger than you are? Surely not, right? Well, actually, they can. There can be some really big pumpkins that are hundreds of pounds big. That is really huge. In fact, I don't know if any of you have been to the state fair or are going to go, but Miss Amy's going to try to go today. The state fair is in Raleigh, and they have a big display, and they usually have the prize-winning pumpkins, the really, really big ones that are like the biggest ones grown in the state. So today, if I see a really big pumpkin that's bigger than you are, I will try to take a picture and share it with you guys. All right, let's go down to the bottom now and back over to the left to the orange box. What is inside of a pumpkin? Ooh, do you know? Have any of you cut your pumpkin open and tried to carve it yet? Well, on the inside of a pumpkin, it is full of pulp. That's that stringy, gooey stuff, and seeds. And that's what Miss Amy likes to call the pumpkin guts. We have to clean all that out when we're going to make a jack-o'-lantern. So pumpkins have pulp and seeds, and those seeds are what you plant to grow new pumpkins next year. Well, let's go over to the brown box. What happens to a pumpkin when it rots? When a pumpkin gets old, because it is fruit, it will start to rot or decay, and it's going to turn all black, and it shrinks up and kind of turns into mush eventually. So when your pumpkin starts to rot, you want to make sure that you get it out of the house because it's going to start to stink and it's going to start to get water and juices everywhere, and it might attract gnats or little flies. So when a pumpkin starts to rot, it's time to throw it in the woods or in the trash and get rid of it. Now, we have a big grown-up word that we're going to learn. Today's big word is texture. Can you say that? Texture. All right, and texture is the way something feels. So you might have a stuffed animal that has a really soft texture. You might have helped Daddy before when he uses sandpaper. That's got a really rough texture. It's talking about the way something feels. And pumpkins can have different textures too. This pumpkin, you see it with all those lumps and bumps, that has a very bumpy texture. So if I rubbed my hand on that, I could feel all those bumps. While this pumpkin that looks just nice and round, it's got a very smooth texture. It doesn't have any bumps, so it's very smooth. So when we talk about texture, we're talking about the way that something feels. All right. Now, let's look at the back, and we're going to talk about which pumpkin. And I'm sorry that my answers are already circled. I was recording earlier and had to start over because I ran out of space, so we're just going to look at it together here. There are 4 pumpkins sitting on this fence, and they all have a letter. Pumpkin A is that bumpy pumpkin with the bumpy texture. Pumpkin B is a different color pumpkin that's got green and yellow stripes. Pumpkin C looks like a nice small round pumpkin. It's got a very long stem. And then pumpkin D is kind of a tall, skinny pumpkin. All right, so I'm gonna ask you these questions, and if you want to, you can get your marker or your crayon and you can follow along with me at home. So which pumpkin is bumpy? Which one has the bumps? That's this first one, right? Pumpkin A. So I'm gonna circle the A like I already have. All right, which pumpkin has a long stem? Do you see the one with the long stem? Yeah, and what letter is under that? That is C. So I want to go down here and find the C and circle that. Pumpkins have a stem. That's where they're attached to their vine. And so wherever it's cut off the vine is how long, that determines how long the stem's going to be. So this one had a very long stem. Which pumpkin out of these 4 has yellow stripes? You see the one with the yellow stripes? That's pumpkin B. So we're going to go down here and circle the B. And then which one is the tallest pumpkin? Which one is the tallest? That would be this one. That's kind of like the Cade pumpkin in our class because Cade is the tallest person in our class. So that is pumpkin D. So we're going to circle the D. And then if we've got 4 pumpkins on our fence. If 2 of those pumpkins fell off, let me see if I can cover this. If 2 of them fell off, 1, 2, we're going to pretend that they fell on the ground. How many pumpkins would be left? So let's see how many are left. 1, 2. So there's 2 left, and so we're going to write a 2 here. Remember, it's around and back on the railroad track. 2, 2, 2, 2, like choo, 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 choo. So 2 pumpkins would be left. Now, if you would like to, boys and girls, you can complete that at home. And then you can bring it back on Monday or sometime next week, and we will give you a pumpkin stamp for doing your homework. All right, I have a short book for today. It is pumpkin time. We have been reading lots of stories about pumpkins this week. This one's kind of nonfiction. It gives some true facts about pumpkins, okay? So let's see. I like the inside cover. Look at all of those pumpkin seeds. Wow, that's a lot of seeds. Okay, so here we go. It's pumpkin time. All summer long, my brother and I get ready for our favorite holiday. Can you guess what it is? And look at there's a jack-o'-lantern. So what holiday do we think about when we see jack-o'-lanterns? Do you know? It is Halloween. That's right. And can you guess what we do to get ready for Halloween? What do you do to get ready? Do you go pick out a costume? Well, they're going to do something that involves dirt. They plant a jack-o'-lantern patch. So first, they have to turn the soil with a shovel, and my brother uses the spade, that's this little shovel, to dig narrow rows just 1 inch deep. Then we drop in pumpkin seeds and cover them with soil. Soil is another word for dirt. We water them and we wait for the sun to warm them. And before long, the seeds grow tiny roots and small green shoots poke up out of the ground. Do you see all those little plants? Those are all where a pumpkin seed has been planted. The shoots grow into vines, And the vines grow longer. See those long vines? That's like in that story I read you yesterday. Peter had that one vine that grew way far away and went all the way into the meadow by itself. Whoops, hang on. Let's see. Every week we water them and pull up lots of weeds. You have to care for your pumpkins so they will grow. Soon we see buds where flowers will bloom. There's a bud and then there blooms a flower. The yellow flowers show us where our pumpkins will grow. So everywhere there's a flower, here's a bud that's going to turn into a flower. Everywhere there's a flower, that's where there's going to be a pumpkin on that vine. At first, the pumpkins are green and tiny. Look at that. They look like a little green ball. But they grow bigger and bigger. Look at those. And soon it's fall and our pumpkins change color from green to yellow. Now the pumpkins look yellow and look how big they've gotten. And then they turn orange. And then they're ready to be picked. We have never grown such big pumpkins. Wow. Mom and Dad help us cut the pumpkins from the vines. Remember I said the pumpkin stem is really strong and you have to actually use a knife to cut that. That's why in that one story that I read, the witch and all of her friends were having such a hard time getting that pumpkin off the vine because that vine is strong. So we gather our pumpkins in a wheelbarrow and take them home. And it's Halloween at last. Look what they're going to do with their pumpkins. We draw faces on our pumpkins, and Mom and Dad help us cut them, hollow them out, and light candles inside. So you got to cut them open, clean out all that pumpkin guts or pulp and seeds, and then Mom and Dad have to help you because you have to use a sharp knife to cut your face. And then when you put the candle inside, it glows, and that's what makes a jack-o'-lantern. Look at that one. It looks kind of like a kitty cat. Now they are jack-o'-lanterns. This one is my favorite. Can you guess what we do next? Next, we put on our costumes. It's time to trick or treat. Oh, this little girl dressed up as a kitty cat, it looks like. Happy Halloween. And there they go, trick or treating. We got a ghost and a kitty. So I can't wait till next Friday when you wear your costumes and I get to see what all of you are going to dress up as. All right, I want to show you one more thing in this book. This is actually how the pumpkin seeds grow. So you plant the seed in about 1 inch of dirt, and then after several days, a root starts to grow downward. You see that root? You can't see that from above ground because that's under the ground. And then a stem starts to grow. Root hairs take in the nutrients out of the soil that help the plant grow. And then the stem grows up, and inside the tip of the stem, the leaves are tightly curled, and the pumpkin seed shell kind of pops off and stays behind. And then the stem breaks through the soil, and that's where we see that little shoot, and the seed leaves open, and the shell just breaks down into the soil. And then the first true pumpkin leaf grows. And from now on, the plants will grow leaves with jagged edges like this one. So that's an actual pumpkin leaf. All right, and then eventually that it will grow into a vine, and then the vine will grow flowers. And where those flowers are is where the pumpkins will start. So that is, it's pumpkin time. I have a couple more pumpkin stories that I'll come to you and read this weekend. But I hope that you all have a wonderful Friday, and I'm so excited that we get to be back together on Monday. Now, on Monday, Miss Amy's not going to be at school, hopefully not because I'm sick or anything, but because I already had a trip planned out of town as well. So on Monday, Miss Tina will be there and Miss Cindy will be there, but I will be back on Wednesday to see you, and I can't wait. Wednesday, we're having firefighter Jason come and teach us all about fire safety. And then next Friday, we will be having our Halloween party, and we get to wear our costumes. So I can't wait to see you all dressed up. So have a great weekend. I will be back tomorrow to read you another story, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.